Okay, and we're back. 2 hours of coding starting now. Welcome back. So if you just opened this video and you're wondering what it is that you're looking at, I have been on a journey of learning how to code over the last 2 years seriously, maybe 4 years on and off. And I started from zero, no previous experience, and I managed to work my way all the way up to where I am today, which is as a full stack developer, building using Django in the back end and React JavaScript in the front end. And here I'm working on the final project for CS50w, which is the follow-up course for the main CS50 course, and it's the course that teaches you basically how to become a full stack developer. So let's get right into it. Here we're just trying to finish up. I'm just trying to finish up this feature requests app. So this is actually an app within a bigger project, and the goal is here that we have a form on the left, and every time someone fills in this form, it'll show on the feed to the right. So let's get right into the code. Okay, the first thing I want to do is just cd into the actual project, final project. Okay, and we want to activate our virtual environment, so that's source, teleport VM, bin, activate, and we want to cd into our teleport, and we're going to do python manage py run server. We'll copy this, and we can just bring that up here, paste, and that's where we are right now. Okay, so if we go into the feedback here, and by the way, it's very similar to the design that I have. I've already made this responsive here. So if we go into the feedback, there's nothing there, so our code is not actually working yet. So hopefully today we can get it to work. So if we go up over here, just reviewing what we did yesterday, we have the feedback engine. So we're fetching yeah, I wanna rewrite this because now I want to use a get request, which is what we're doing down here. So let's see how we can do that. And yeah, so I'm gonna ask down here, convert this into a get request. All right, and we can just get rid of this whole body here, so we'll just keep the headers. And we'll change this on the top here to get. Okay. Great. And we don't have the number of pages, so we'll get rid of that. Okay. Alright, so in theory, this should be spitting something out already, I believe. So let's try this just one more time. The feedback engine will go into this feedback loop here. Or, sorry, if else. The else would be a get. So if the request method is post else, meaning if it's a get, it'll run this over here. So we'll get the current user. We'll get all those posts. And then we'll start building our data response, and then we're going to send that data response as a list later on over here as posts. And one last thing is that we're sending this data back into the front end as data, and this data has a field of posts, so we have to update that. It would be data.posts, not user posts. And over here the same thing, and over here the same thing, basically for all of these. Okay, and there's a lot more other things down here that we don't need at the moment. So let's just see if this will start working even. So I'm gonna go into my inspector here, and I'm gonna go into my console. So here is, I should see any data basically. So I'm logging into the console, whether it works, whether it doesn't work, just in general, I'm logging everything there onto the console. So let's see, we're gonna reload this. And nothing happened. Let's try again. And nothing happened. Yeah, I'm not getting any data or anything like that. Let's open the shell real quick. So again, the shell is a way to look at your database. So to do that is Python manage py shell. And then we want to say from feedback.models import all, and all is just a star like that. And we want to say post is equal to what was the name of that model? The name of the model is feedback. So we would do equals feedback.objects dot all. And if we click on posts, we have an empty query set. So maybe that's why we're not seeing anything here. So I'm going to go ahead and just make up a query set right away. Let me see here 1 minute. Let's see. 1 second. Let's see how our new feedback is doing, although we don't have a way of putting that in over there. And I'm noticing that we haven't actually put this child element into the actual page, so we have still a lot of work to do here. I'm going to type in here from users.models import all, and then we want to type in user equals teleport, if I could spell, port user objects.get, where the pk equals 1, user.username, user.email, user dot, let's just see what username. User is equal to teleport user dot objects dot get, where the pk equals 2. And user, okay, so now we have an actual good test user here. You see, if I type in user username, it gives us it gives us that. Okay, so it's a valid user. So what I want to do is I want to make a new post. So the way to do that is post is equal to, yeah, so that would be whatever this is, feedback. So that will be feedback, open parentheses, where the user equals user, meaning the user is equal to this object here, and the title is equal to hello world. Okay, and the description is equal to my first suggestion. Okay. Timestamp has an auto field, so we don't need to fill it in. Active has a default, so we don't have to feed that. We don't have to put that in. This one also has a default, and these all have defaults, so we don't have to fill any of those in. So we can just close the parentheses, hit enter, and if we go into post, you see we have a feedback object. So we can now go and do post.save. Okay, let's go back here, reload. We're still not seeing anything. I think part of that is because we haven't actually put our components onto our page yet, but we're getting there. Okay, so I'm just gonna get out of this shell for now and keep going here. So if we go back onto our index here, right, so our use effect is loading from the feedback engine, which I believe most of this code should be correct by now. I mean, we've been working on it for 2 days already, so it should be okay. Yeah, okay. And here's our feedback engine. Yeah, so this should be all right, I believe. Okay. Data post, catch error. Okay. And so for our post feed dot map for each post, so this is just the name of this is basically giving us a for loop over here in JavaScript, similar to this for post and post. I think it's the same thing, it's the same idea, and we feed each post to it. Now this post feed is coming from where? It's coming from this here. So we're setting our post feed, which is our variable keeping track of all this. Up here. And then over here we can run directly on the actual variable our for loop. Which in this case the syntax is dot map. So mapping just means a for loop for each post. We're gonna create a card. So here we're gonna create this div here with all the stuff. I see we have an if else here. So it says here update post form. Let's see. Yeah, so we don't need this. On edit post initial body positive. So this is if we wanted to allow them to edit the post after they post it. I don't want that functionality, so I'll take that out. And I will take this as well. Okay. Now I see here this is part of like a bigger if else, so I want to start taking all this out from back here. Okay. And what I'm left with is this H3 here. And I want to finish it like that, take that out as well. And so that should be okay. So we took the if-else statement and we just left it as a regular div. h3 class name equals class header. We do post dot. It wouldn't be post dot body because again we have multiple things going on here. It will be post dot title. Okay. And after that we can have another div. This posted by, we can take this out as well. And again, we're starting from our P. So this is the end of our P, all the way up to here. Okay. So this functionality we don't need. We're going to replace this with our post dot description. So that would be this field here. And the ability to edit the post, we want to take that out as well. Post is owner, we want to present a bottom that says okay, so this is the ability to edit the post. We'll take this out as well. And so if the post is owner, we would have shown that. Otherwise, we would have been empty. So this whole thing, we could just take it out. Then we have our post like button, which, and one second. Right, so we have this div here. We would have to get rid of this whole div here. Okay, I'm not really sure. I guess we could just start with this. That way we have a div p, close div, open new div, post like button, post dot upvotes. Okay. User upvoted equals post dot user upvoted. One second, I gotta go back here. I made a mistake. We do want to have something here for we're gonna heavily edit this. This wouldn't be an edit, this would be a delete suggestion, and we need some logic in the back end later on to handle all this. Okay. And then we have our post like button, likes equals post dot upvotes, and if the user liked it, user upvoted. Now over here we need a conditional as well. And so we're going to start writing it. Here we need some type of conditional, so I'm going to open a bracket here. I'm going to close the bracket down here. I hope this is right. Okay. Open bracket, close bracket. The first thing we're going to write in here is post dot is owner. So we're checking if the if whoever posted it is whoever posted it. If the answer is yes, which is, the syntax is a question mark like that. We want to display nothing. Else, we want to give them the option to be able to upvote that post. Does that make sense? So that's the idea. So over here, I can only upvote posts that are not mine. Okay? So that would be post is, if the post is owner, then display nothing. Otherwise, display this post like button element. Likes equals post upvotes. User liked would be user upvoted. So this would check if you've already liked that. Like, obviously it's not, it wouldn't be your post if it's checking for that. So that's user upvoted. And post ID equals post PK, which we're passing here. Close. Okay, what else are we missing here? Our comments. Which I'm going to leave that towards the end. That would be this feature down here. And honestly, I've seen other people implement this in their own products, and the comment field is not mandatory, so we could probably just leave it out. So let's just leave it out for now, and maybe we'll add it later. And we want to get rid of our paginator as well, so that would be all of this code here, including the div. And now I'm getting a bit of a mess here with all these random divs, but maybe we can get rid of this comment here like that. See, I think that's correct. This is one of the minuses of using the CS50 code editor, which doesn't have all the automatic checking. So there's many plugins that will check for you. It would make it easier to check, you know, if you're missing divs or if you're not closing it right or whatnot. Here we kind of have to do it manually. So I'm going to do it inside out. So we have 2 opening divs. It means that at the very end we should have 2 closing divs, and that is correct. Afterwards we have some type of bracket followed by a bracket. Then we have this, and so we have this. And then we're opening here with a div, and we are closing with a div. This is an opening div here that does not close, so hopefully that's taken care of by... this is like a terrible way of doing this. It's not accurate at all. This is a way of closing it here. So this div up here, this card body here, it's being closed by the bottom one. And yeah, I'm just trusting this is... I'm probably just gonna have to use the AI and make it quicker. So is the syntax correct? Yeah, so I didn't close all the tags correctly, I guess. Let's copy this and put it down here. No. Why it's not letting me? It's not letting me. Wow, it was so hard. Okay. 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 This one should be in the same line, so it looks like it's doing it automatically. Oh no, wait, not in the same line. Okay. This one should definitely be one over here. P. I guess it's just a way to make it look easier. Or to make it easier to look at, really. Div. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure. This is one of the things I hate about HTML, but we'll get through it. Okay. Alright, so this div should line up with the one on the very top. Then we have this one over here, which is here. Then we have the actual function. So these two outer ones should be okay. Here's our entire element. Here's the closing for the return statement. And this div closes this one. This div closes this one. Then we have the actual function here, the mapping function of the for loop, which I guess to a certain point is okay. Up to here it's okay, and then from here to here is okay. So basically we just need to make sure that all these divs are closed properly. So this one here is belonging to the one on the top. The tab is not working here for some reason, but so this one here should belong to the first one, and then this one belongs to the second one, and then this one belongs to this one to this one. It should be okay. Now I just want to make sure that the actual data in here is okay. So post map post class name cart2 da da da. Afterwards it begins in h3 cart header post title h3 class name cart body, then p cart title, p post description, post is owner, then show the post like button. No, it's just a class. On click, edit post, post.pk, delete OK, else show nothing. That seems about right. And then post is owner, post like button. Let's see. Upvotes, user like, post ID, post BK, and then close everything, closer. Okay, I think we are good here. I'll take all this out. And this should be okay now. Great. So Now I'm debating whether this should be a delete here or it should be something else. Edit post.pk, and it should be passing that as well somewhere. Props.reload, page number, post like reload. Edit post.pk. Where's my edit post function? I must be defining it up here. Edit post. Okay, I'm not sure where I'm handling that. So I'm going to go back to the other file and look for this function. Index, search it. Edit post. Where else is this at? So I don't have any of that code up here. And I don't think this is the correct thing for this. So we have post like button. And this post like button becomes like a child element, child component within the child component. So really like a grandchild. So post like button. Let's see. Post feed. So this is over here. Got it. So it's all of this. So it's all of this. Okay. Post feed. We already have that here. This paginator we don't need. So instead of that, I'm just going to pour in here that. So I'm going to rename this to delete button, which takes some props, and we can totally make a new route here. We're going to call it delete feedback, and it has to be a post request. Great. So if the request method is post, good. So we're actually just going to pass here for now, and all this stuff is just like one big comment, really. But basically we have two types of buttons in our post feed. We have the post like button, okay, with all of its details, and then we have a delete button. This delete button will fetch from delete feedback, using a post. In the body here, we probably have to send. I really think that we need to send props. Yeah, we need to send the post PK. Which would probably be some type of posts props .post.pk. I think that's what it might be, although we can work on that later. Feedback engine. Yeah. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start deleting things here. I think this is getting way too complicated just to get the, like, we're working on multiple features at the same time at this point, and I think that's a mistake. I think we should work on one feature at a time. At least that's the way that I learned how to code, and that's the way the course teaches. So let's start deleting things which we're gonna add later. I just want to make I just literally just want to get the minimum amount of code that I can load the page and see that things are working, at least in terms of, you know, making the request and fetching from the database and then bringing that back into the user. Just want to make sure that that round trip is actually working. So let's just get rid of a lot of the stuff. So new post form, that will leave as is for now. And the post feed, I guess we can just, you know, kind of just leave all the stuff here. The function post like button, all this stuff we'll take out. We'll all this stuff. Also the delete button, we'll get rid of all this stuff. And it has some type of return as well, so we'll get rid of all that. And we might even need to get rid of some of these constants, not sure. So we have child 1, we have a child 2, which should work. We'll get rid of this shenanigans. We'll get rid of this as well. And again, very simple. We just wanna see if this is working. We just want to show the title and the description for now. We'll save it. And I like to think that this here, I like to think that this over here is working. Post like reload, set post like reload, da 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 da. Let me take a look here. I don't see that I need that in here. Let's get rid of it for now. Also just all these random things, let's just get rid of them. And let's get rid of all this at the top as well. And so post like reload number of pages. So really the only thing we have is our post feed. We'll start with that. Let's see if at least we can show that our round trip between the server and the user is actually working. Feedback engine, get, let's just one more time look at it. The return looks okay. So that's for our use effect and our post feed. That should be okay. This is child component. It should be all right. And over here also, this should be good. Title, set title, description, set description, set title, set description, and then actually fetching into the new feedback. We're going to go ahead and delete our delete feedback view. Again, we're trying to keep this very simple at the moment. New feedback loop, and we have our feedback index. I mean, I've already looked at this a few times. It should work. And props on reload. That might be an issue. We'll take a look in a minute. Let's go into the our template here. And so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and render our, we want to go ahead and render the parent component into our main React window. Let's see. We'll copy this as well. Yeah, so all this code here, we'll put in the index towards the end of our script here. Okay, so what are we doing here? Okay, load set reload. Yeah, so that's what I thought. So the load set reload is props dot, give me a second, props on reload. And so on reload, post feed reload equals reload. And what reload does, I don't know, I guess it just makes the use effect run again. Let's just leave it and see what it does, but I think that's what it does. This requested user, we don't need this. And we don't need to see there, so we'll take those two out. And all this stuff, if, else, all this crap, we're going to take all of it out. We're just going to leave one return statement here. That's all we need for now. Again, we're just trying to see that this works on a very basic level. This if else, we can get rid of that. And so I believe our main React window, ooh, did I delete the wrong thing here? If else, so we'll take this out. I will take that out as well. Okay, so yeah, so it should be like that. And this is what we're rendering. So again, this is our parent component. This is where all of our children component go in React. And this just renders onto main React window. Our main React window is defined at the top here as this div. So it'll populate this div over here. Just plain old, so actually the ID is a little bit different. We'll update that. So we're going to be rendering a main React window onto that div. Our main React window has some type of way to handle the use state configuration. we don't need this line of code. This is for a different feature. And all we do is we handling the use state configuration, and then we are just returning. What are we returning? Two things, our two children components. So we need, one thing would be our new post form. Give me a second here. So it would be this. Div. So this is what we're returning. We have our div, we have a new post form, the post feed, and then we're calling it a day. We do not need to put that in here. We do not need this type prop here. We don't even need the set user prop. All we need is the reload prop, which just, again, it's just a way for us to keep track of our use state configuration. So basically this reload, what it takes, it resets the use state and it sort of tells it to load again. And so we're doing that, the post feed, we are doing that, props on reload. That's whenever we submit a new post. So whenever we submit a new post, it'll make the post feed reload. So it's dependent on that. Let's just run it and see how it goes. So new post form, we are handling that in the new post on reload. Let me see, new post form. We're passing that function. So we have here on reload function, and that on reload function is a handle reload, which just sets this reload variable to its opposite. And then the post feed is just listening for that reload function. Whenever it changes its value, that's when this post feed knows how to reload on its own. Okay, I believe at this point we have everything we need to try it and run it and see how it goes. So I'm gonna go back to my app right here, and I'm gonna run it. I'm just gonna reload it. Okay. And we see that it's been populated by something here. We don't know what that something is yet, and it's okay. I'm also getting some type of error here from our post feed, that we have a problem with our JSON data. So the first thing that comes to mind is that maybe the variable names between the template and the production version are different, so we just update that quickly. But you see, for now, we are showing something now here that we weren't showing before. So we will put that on the side for a second. And obviously we want to display this into two divs and make it, make it the flex and make it responsive. So we will deal with that eventually. But for now, really, my goal is just to see if the round trip between the database and the user is working. So here I'm supposed to be fetching data from a database and displaying it here. That's not happening at the moment, so I have to look into that. And I can use here I am debugging a little bit my server, and over here I'm debugging my front end. And the first thing obviously is to check is the server. So we will look here and it says not found feedback engine. So we have a problem already with our feedback engine. Now, I'm not debugging this so much. I'm going to take a wild guess here, but I'm assuming that the app, the React code over here, is fetching from. Where is it fetching from? Just feedback engine, meaning whatever our domain is, which in this case is just the test domain. It's over here, 127.0.8.1. port 8000 / feedback engine, but that's not the route that we have. Why? Because these routes here, they all have something before them. This all is within the feedback app. And what is the feedback app? If we go into our URLs for the entire project, we'll see that feedback in itself has a route. So this over here really is supposed to be / feedback / feedback engine. That should be the correct URL. We'll reload here. And we are making some progress here. You see that now is getting from the correct place, I believe. We'll see. So it's / feedback / feedback engine. So I'm not getting this error anymore. I'm getting a different one now, which is date time is not defined. So maybe I forgot to add the date time library. So that's the next step here. Let's just take a quick look here. Date time. So you see I'm defining it down here. I'm defining it in multiple places, but I never imported it. So I have to import that up here. I don't remember how to do that. So I'm going to use the AI for that. How? Let's see. You can see that. How do I import date time library into a Django view? Let's see. Okay, so we forgot this line here, from date time import date time. That goes right there is fine. Okay, we can close this and we can try. You see, it seems like the server resolved itself. So we will go back to our app, reload, and I'm still getting a mistake here. So let's see, first of all, what the server says. I'm going to reload it again. I'm going to reload this again and watch what the server does. Again. So I'm still getting this issue here. Date time has no attribute of date time. You know, I might not even need that in here. Let me see. I'm going to delete one of these. Maybe that's the problem. Let's reload. Okay, so the date time was resolved. You see? We resolved the date time issue. Now we have to look for post into field. Choices are da 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 da. Now it's not telling me here like what line of code that goes in. Feedback ID, timestamp user ID. So basically it's an issue from where we copied from. So we'll go up here again and take a look. So format date equals date time. Da 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 da. So it's not post.timestamp. The correct should be feedback. Feedback. So if post active equals true, actually no, this is the correct syntax here because it's just referring to this for loop. So what's the issue again? Let me see. We'll reload here. So cannot resolve keyword post into field. That's interesting. Maybe this library here is only is only able to refer to the actual object and not to the referred object by the for loop here. So let's try just writing feedback instead of post, and that might just be something specific to that date time library that we're using. So let's reload here, and at this point I have no idea what they're talking about. Invalid is2 format of okay, we're gonna deal with this later. I'm gonna do all this code here. It's just giving me a ton of problems. And really that's just to display a date that I don't even need to, actually we might not even need that because I don't even want to display any date here. I just want to, I mean it's just for our own reference for later. So formatted date is not referenced. So where is that? We will take this out. And what I'm saying is that we never actually referred to it in the front end, if at all here. Like we have the post feed. Really all I'm loading onto memory or onto the front end is my post title and description. That's it. That's all I'm presenting. This key here is just an internal thing that I could use later. But I'm only using title and description. So a lot of the stuff I don't need there. I mean, I do need it for other features, but the date in itself, I don't have any features in mind that I might use that for. So I'll take it out, and we're gonna reload here and see. Cannot resolve keyword post into field. What are they talking about? Let's go from the top again. So we have all this. We have our posts here, which should be okay. And for post in post, we should be okay. Post.active equals true. Normalized post. Post.pk. Post. Whatever. Yeah, what are they talking about? What error is it giving us here? I don't think much. Yeah, React doesn't really give us very good debugging info, as far as I know. I really wish I could see more info here about this, and I'm not sure how to do that. But cannot resolve keyword post into the field chooses our feedback. Okay, which keyword are they talking about? New feedback and index. Yeah, so the post.pk, the title, the description. This is a problem. I don't know how to resolve it. User object get request dot user dot id get all post equal post feedback objects dot or all that should be okay. I really don't see an issue here. But let's try and I don't know, reset the server. I don't know what else it could be. All right. So Python manage by run server. Let me know if you guys have any ideas how to resolve this, please. Let's see. Um, okay. And this. With the so the issue is over here. The issue is over here. Okay. We can come back to this later. I just want to get one win for today. Just to make sure that we are round tripping okay. Ugh, come on. Feedback object has no attribute in progress. Let's see here. What is this then? What do you call this? In progress. The feedback object does not have one last thing. We can try this. Python manage make migrations. No changes detected. Should be okay. Python manage migrate. It should be okay. There's nothing to do here. So we'll do again. And object has no attribute in progress. Let me see. Unless I have a typo here. I do have a typo there. Okay. Yeah, there was a typo there. Fine, doesn't really matter. So just reload now. And it's kind of working. You see, we have a bit of an endless loop here, so I'll stop the server in a minute. So let's stop here. There seems to be a bit of issue here with this. And so I don't need this code here. Right? Let's try again. Run the server. It has to be in the correct line. Reload here. And we're still getting this like endless loop here. So we'll stop the server again. But if we were to open in here, one of these, we'll see that we have our hello world and my first suggest. So we have that one post that we've already put in there, in the what's it called, in the server, and I guess it is in here too. You see it, hello world, my first. So it is showing up in the front end as well. Now this is all very, very, very rough, but at least we're showing that round trip between the server, the database, and presenting that to the user. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining the coding session. I'll see you tomorrow, and happy coding.